Hi, I'm just a boy who learned he's been praying to the wrong god, Leo, and welcome to In Bed with a BL. Today, we're going to talk about this short film that you might not even heard of on YouTube called Kiss of the Rabbit God by director Andrew Huang. So Andrew Huang actually has been doing a lot of short videos online for as long as I can remember, and I didn't even realize, but I've actually been watching his videos without knowing who he was for the longest time too. He has like this doll face video, which I'll link to also, which I've been thinking about since, I don't know, like after when I was like a teenager. I'm not sure exactly how old this movie is, but like I've known about this for the longest time. So it's funny to find something that has shocked and awed me as much as Kiss of Rabbit God and know it's from somebody I've actually known from a long time. So that was really interesting, and I actually got happy learning more about this director, especially as the internet grew. I can follow his Instagram and his Twitter, which I'll also link to because you should too. It's very interesting. Recently, he did these photo edits for the Dragon Kings of the Four Directions. They're super cool. They're super awesome, amazing. I like went crazy when I released them. I'm probably really annoying, so sorry, Andrew, if I annoy you. But he's really cool. I love his art style. He blends Eastern and Western cultures because I believe he is maybe mixed race, Eastern and Western, or at least he grew up in America. So a lot of his things are a good blend of both cultures, which I find very interesting when people can do that. There is a chef that I follow on Instagram who does the same thing, Eastern and Western cooking. I found about him because he did a really cool Pokemon dish. And I think right now he's doing an Avatar The Last Airbender series where he's making food from that. So you should check him out too. I'll link him over here too. So, getting back to Kiss of the Rabbit God. If you want to know how to make something sexy, you need to watch this movie, you need to study this movie. This movie is sex. It's the way it's filmed, the colors they use, the actions, the actors, the makeup, the outfits, everything when it's a sensual scene is perfection. It's the embodiment of like pleasure, sexuality, passion. It is so good at being sexy. I still go to it all the time. The Rabbit God, that actor, the way they dressed him up, it also is a very interesting thing because that is a big blend on ancient Chinese mythos, and it has some American singer like Smashing Pumpkins vibes. If you look at his Andrew Huang's Instagram post, he actually did quote Smashing Pumpkins and some other people I can list here. So it's just a good blend of interesting things, and even the Rabbit God's look, not like the pieces individually I would not consider sexy or attractive, but for the combination, the ability to put this together and make something so sensually attractive and excellent was astounding. Like, this movie is so good. It's funny because I actually watched one of my Taiwanese friends, so this is about him learning about the Rabbit God, which actually has a shrine in New Taipei City. I haven't been able to go yet because they recently moved it. I can't figure out where it is. But anyways, I showed this to one of my Taiwanese friends, and the English parts moved too fast for him, and he got really confused. So maybe I'm just really biased and love this movie way too much, but I digress. It's super duper good. So the movie itself is really short. It's about 14 minutes long, so hopefully I don't make a video longer than that. But the basic story is we have our main character, and he works in Asian American restaurant, and he has a chaotic life, and he's repressing himself. And there's a scene where he accidentally, I'm assuming accidentally, because he cuts his finger, and at that moment he looks at the shrine of the Rabbit God and summons this amazing, beautiful man, the Rabbit God, to him. And this story is about him going through a sexual revelation. He is learning about sexuality and has to make the choice of to embrace his sexuality or put it away and hide forever. A really interesting way this film does that is whenever he's in a scene with the Rabbit God, it's chaos. He's working the restaurant, and if you ever worked in a restaurant, you can watch this and have like horrific flashbacks. Like, it's pure chaos. Everything's loud. Everyone's yelling. It's like war. Restaurant is war. And then once the Rabbit God comes, and any subsequent scene with the Rabbit God is tranquil. There's no background music. There's nothing. It's just him and the Rabbit God. They even have like that black space, and then like magic happens. So the dynamic between that is just so amazing. Another cool thing about this, and I actually noted this in Dear Tenant, is a lot of the restaurant scenes and when he's alone and suffering, everything seems kind of like wet. Kind of like in Ji-Lung's scenes of Dear Tenant, where like there's a lot of like sad parts, there's a lot of grime, everything seems kind of like moist and humid and like greasy. This happens too. Like all the restaurant scenes where he's stressed out, the filter, everything just seems like weighted and wet and grimy. And then all the scenes with the rabbit god and him together are a little clearer, less heavy. So I don't know if that was something I just inferred myself or something he was actually going for, but it helped give a good divide between the two senses of this movie. Before we go into the amazing part that's towards the end, there's two quotes that I just really, really liked. One is the rabbit god. He meets him, he orders some food and disappears, mysterious, and meets him at night for some saucy kissing. And he still has the cut on his finger, and he says, "A wound is a doorway, leave it and it will fester." So like, kind of like that's him opening up. You kind of can't be on the fence the whole time, you have to make a decision. If you don't, like, it'll poison you. Kind of like repression is painful to your soul. I just thought that was really interesting. And then there's another line where he whispers into his ear towards the end, "You can be the master of your own skin." And it's just about like sexual empowerment, like owning your body, owning what you need to do, taking direction, and not just being like repressed the whole time. In his bio on the film, on the YouTube page and on his Instagram, he talked about this as just like kind of a representation of a sexual awakening, sexual journey, and also like paying more homage to Asian American heritage, Asian heritage, and things like that too. You can read yourself, but essentially he was in Mexico and saw an art exhibit that reminded him of the story of the rabbit god, and that made him think about this movie. So yeah. And then if you know anything about this movie, when he makes the decision of the sexual awakening and he allows the rabbit god into him is like the bee's knees of sexiness. It has like some prayer, some whispering, there's lots of close-ups, and like even like the non-sexual things, like there's caressing and touching and just looking and just being near is just really good at it's like Silent Hill 2 is a great horror game because of the soundtrack and what you see and what you don't see. Kiss of Rabbit God is like a good movie about sexuality because of everything else besides like the scary stuff. Like there's no penetration or anything like that, but it's just like touching, caressing, and whispering. It just all goes together. It's oh my god, it blew my mind. There's like a scene where he's like washing his face and like the rabbit god's hands come and like it's good. It's 14 minutes. Just go watch it. Like just go watch it. It's amazing. Oh my gosh. Also, there's a deleted scene where he talks about the cut sleeve boy. It's only 2 minutes long. You should also watch it. It's on his YouTube page as well. And the cut sleeve boy is a story about an emperor who had a gay lover. And one time the emperor woke up early and the gay lover was still sleeping. He didn't want to wake his lover from the dream because he looked so pure, so he took a knife and cut the sleeve off his expensive dress and snuck his hand through so he could get up and do it, like live his life and do his workday, and his lover could stay sleeping. That's like one of the most famous Chinese like gay love stories. There's actually a movie about that too. I can't remember if I watched it or not, but I've known about the Kutsu Boys for a while. And this is a story about the rabbit god, which is the symbol, the god of secret love affairs and gay love affairs. About a soldier who fell in love with somebody. You learn about it in the first 5 minutes of the movie. But definitely watch it. It's so good. Oh my gosh. It's 14 minutes. Not watching is just a crime against movies and gay people everywhere. And one more thing I really want to talk about in this movie is the blood. So like, this is actually something talked about a lot in the Bram Stoker Dracula book too. Bloodletting and the exchange of blood fluid is very keen to like homosexual behavior. Like blood is life essence, semen, sperm kind of thing. I don't know exactly if that is what Andrew Huang was going for, but there's a lot of the main character, like he cutting himself and releasing blood, and the rabbit god taking it, and the exchange of almost like life essence between two men can be seen as kind of like almost like a sexual act in itself. At least in Dracula, that's many people think that is like more of a gay sexual act, and that is a whole other thing that we can maybe talk about, but the literature world has talked about that a lot, so I don't know if you need some random guy to talk about this. But the bloodletting and blood sharing and just all the effect of the blood not only is like super insanely sexy and hot, maybe not for everyone, maybe that's like a me problem or a mean thing, I don't know. Do you feel that way? But it just also like adds, like you're sharing life, your blood bending, if you will. But all those scenes, it's just, like I said, just go watch it. It's so good. Okay, yeah. So I've been really nice with my ratings lately, but like this is a 10 out of 10. There's nothing wrong with this movie. There's nothing offensive about this movie. This is a movie about sexual exploration and just amazingness, and also like any movie where somebody can like talk about their heritage and just make it so awesome, like 100%. Like he is going to his roots. He did something really cool, and his style is just amazing. So you should definitely like watch this, like, subscribe to him, follow him on Instagram, and look at his other projects too. I think he worked with Bjork, which is like another dream. Like he worked with Bjork, amazing. Yeah, so this is definitely a 10 out of 10. There's no way this cannot be a perfect score. It's so good. It's came out like over a year ago, so I'm late to the party, and people probably moved on by now. But people are not screaming about this from the rooftops, and they should be. So yeah, definitely check it out. So thank you for watching. I will see you next week. I think next time I'll talk about Number One for You or Gaia, the Filipino movie. So either a Taiwanese or a Filipino show. I'm not quite sure which one will come out first, but they're both super duper awesome. So thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye.